Hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, let's talk about 5G cellular and the different versions they have out there, and there really is a big step change in capability and features that's really just around the corner. Or in some ways it's already out there. So this applies to both AT&T, T-Mobile and Verizon networks that are out there in the US. And I'm talking about the 5G SA, which is 5G standalone, versus 5G NSA. So what I'm going to do is talk about some of the differences between them, as well as show you how I can test it with, this is actually a T-Mobile business internet SIM, but you can also do this with a T-Mobile home internet SIM. This is a third-party gateway, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And basically, let's talk about what is the difference between these two things. So everyone knows that 5G, at least the way it's marketed, has been out for years in the US, but it really hasn't been the full 5G that we've been promised for many years or even a decade. And that's where you're going to a 5G core. So if you really look at the cellular networks, there is the 5G core, or there's the core side, and then there's the RAN side, or the radio area network, which is kind of broken up really between everything from the tower back to the internet is the core side, and everything from the tower to your device is really the RAN side. And we've been using something called 5G non-standalone, which means you're using the 4G core for all the infrastructure, for the back-end stuff that the ISPs have, but they're able to leverage 5G radio frequencies and signals from the tower to your device. And that's where you get these millimeter wave stuff out there. You get the C-band. Those are 5G frequencies and radios that are being sent out, in the way that it's packaging that data. But the backbone has really been a 4G LTE setup. So 5G SA takes it a step further, and they're actually reconfiguring their infrastructure. And this is why it's taking so long, is because it's very costly. And I think, to be frank with you, they're running into a lot of hurdles that they're having to work out, both between keeping all the existing stuff alive and moving over to this new 5G SA core. And if you look at what they're doing, they're trying to make fundamental shifts in how they are able to leverage the data and your connections between your devices and their infrastructure network. And they obviously want to sell more content and data. And if you look at kind of the history of cellular, if you remember, like 3G networks, the big breakthrough for that was like messaging and web browsing. Like, holy cow, you can have a mobile device and browse the internet with a phone. That's really what the 3G enabled. 4G enabled like location services, video streaming. Those are really breakthroughs that they were able to get by having the speed and the bandwidth to do it. So 5G, what you get an answer there as far as like what is the cool factor to it. They really don't have an answer, because they're trying to say it's like everything. Like, we've opened the door up, build it and they will come. So they really haven't figured out exactly what all is going to materialize once you have this full 5G network. But by having some of these edge servers and cloud computing capability, and they're moving it, at least in their minds, on their infrastructure, they're moving that capability in those servers closer to the devices, which allows you to have lower latency and more bandwidth and throughput, because it doesn't have to travel as far. So that's some of the benefits that they are talking about. I am also going to show you what I actually see as benefits out there. And from a practical standpoint, at least today, what you can see is potentially speed increases. And that could be for a lot of factors, not just that their infrastructure is faster, but also I think because their bandwidths are less utilized today. But then also latency is a lot faster. That 5G core is designed to be lower latency, because that's something that cellular really has probably struggled with in the past, is they're not competitive with some of the older technology from a latency standpoint compared to like a hardline ISP. So 5G standalone would be aiming to fix that. Now, all that said, here is a box for a T-Mobile gateway. This one is the G4AR gateway, but as far as I can tell, all of their stock boxes do not get on 5G SA, even if you have it available. It is actually a little bit hard to tell, though, because in the app, when you look at the cell metrics, it does give you a 4G and a 5G. but I know it's actually connecting to more than that because it does aggregate. So oftentimes I can get, a couple 4G bands or a couple 5G bands and have them aggregated together. And based off the speed I get off the OE boxes, I know sometimes I'm doing that, but I can't see it. So there is even a chance that it could be hopping on SA, but I don't think it has, from what I can tell. And that's where the third party gateway comes in. This one here is a Chester Tech Repair Ninja, is what they call it, and it's a very simple one. This one has a RM520 GL modem in it, which is like an X62. They actually are coming out, or actually have like the X65, which is the brand new RM521 GL modem. That one has more capability. I don't know how much better or faster it's going to be, but they have those in very limited stock right now. I think they're going to come later this year, 2023, like December timeframe or something. But I'm interested to get that on there. But why I'm using this device is because it allows me to pick 5G SA and 5G NSA on there, but also because there's a new firmware update that I got for this that gives me a new interface. So I'll show you what that is as well. All the new Ninjas actually ship with it directly from Chester Tech Repairs. But what you have to do with this one, or if you have a PepLink or a Chester Cheetah or MoFi will allow you to do it. There's all kind of other ones that are out there. I've tested them as well. They all give you the ability to switch between 5G NSA and 5G SA. So what we'll do is let me just show you this one. Because of the way it's designed, this one only has the 4 antennas, which is 4 cellular antennas for the 4x4 setup, but it has no antennas for Wi-Fi because it doesn't have Wi-Fi. It is a very simplified device that has just that modem and Ethernet board there. It really can't do routing, so it only has a single Ethernet port. It does give you a DHCP capability, so it can actually assign IP addresses. But I have this hooked up through Ethernet cable to a USB-C adapter to my tablet, and then I'm able to log in directly to this interface. And that's what I want to show you is this new interface. It actually really improves the layout. Alright, so the big change to this firmware is really kind of putting in a GUI or a front end for the user. It makes it a little bit easier to connect to it. Before, if you watched my original setup video, I had to use a mobile telnet app on this to send telnet commands. If you used a computer, you had like a Windows computer, you have to use PuTTY. There's apps for Apple devices as well. But this allows me to hook up to it, and then I go to my web browser. I go to this 192.168.225.1, and then I put the colon 8080, which is the port number. That is connected to here, and then this is what comes up, and this is the simple admin page. And both this and the AT commands, these are really supported by the user group out there that created these. So I'll put links to the GitHub locations of these users that actually created this, and then I think I'm not actually positive. I think Chester Tech Repairs is taking that and loading that in manually to all these devices that he sells. So this firmware comes with any of the Ninjas that are bought from there. Alright, so you can see this simple interface here. At the top you have the home, you have the AT command, and that's through this drop down 3 bars there that you can adjust that, open and close it. You can see it has just kind of a welcome and a time. You can see I'm on 5G SA, so 5G standalone. FDD stands for Frequency Division Duplex. The other one is TDD, which is Time Division Duplex. That's just different ways that they actually split up the packets. And like in 71 here that we're seeing is on this FTD. There are like in 41 and other bands they might use the other ones out there. So not good signal strength down here, 34% in the basement. I'm going to move this up to my 3rd floor loft where I get the best signal in my house, and I might even put my waveform 4x4 antenna on it as well to show you the difference of 5G NSA speeds and 5G SA speeds. It will be the same location and it will be connected to the same tower. So really I'm just testing their difference in capability here at my house. Now I'm going to put a caveat out there that I've been testing this several times over the past year or more where I have been able to get 5G SA from T-Mobile with third-party gateways, but it's not always fast for me. So it's been very clear sometimes they've been doing work on it, or it's literally down and not working at all. And that's the general rule of thumb, I would say, for all of the carriers with their SA. If you go into their media press release stuff, they all have different levels of communication as far as how widespread is their 5G SA. Some of them, like Verizon, I think it's not even out there in the public at all. T-Mobile has it out there in select areas and with select devices. If they, open up your device to allow it and your device can connect to it, then it will do it, kind of like these gateways. And then AT&T has it out there, but they are very kind of beta testing, and they are only allowing certain devices to get on it. So I think T-Mobile has the most accessible SA network today, but it's far from rolled out in full production form. Okay, and then here on this screen you just see a couple more details there, so not much in there. But in this ATI commander, this is a AT commands. So these are commands that you can send to this unit to change things. And if I go here to Chester Tech Repair's website, they actually have a blog post there that tells you all of these different commands that you can put in there. So, and this is actually a little bit outdated because this one is the old interface where you have to use PuTTY or Termex or Telnet. So you can kind of skip that top part, and really what you're looking for is these commands. So right here, everything after AT, or sorry, everything starting at AT, that would be the command I want to put. So if I want to force this to, and I don't, to IPv4, I'm going to leave it at IPv4 and IPv6. I can take that whole command and put it in there, but you can see it says, APN here inside quotes. But I just note down here further, he has it kind of already cheated, where I can copy this over. Alright, so then once I copy that, I can go back over here to this AT command. I can paste it in there, and then I can edit this. So, there's actually a couple different APNs you can use for T-Mobile. One of them is fast.t-mobile.com. And I can send that command, and then it's going to send that, and then it's going to give me a response here and says, okay, it did it. Okay, another command I use a lot is this AT plus QCA info, which is query carrier aggregation information. So really it's just telling me what my signal is. And what's actually impressive down here is it's actually picked up N41, and it's right now combining these two and giving me 5G SA with N41 and N71, but my speed I know won't be very good. Alright, so the other thing I did want to point out is this TTL enabler. This allows you to set it. This shows you it's on, and right now it's set to 64. If you needed it something different, you could set that out there. Alright, so here looking at my signal, if you look at the bottom one, and let's see if I can select it. I guess I can't, but you can see the 10 value right there before the 5G NR band 41, and that one is telling me what my bandwidth is. So on this 10 number, you have to look up a decoder, but again, I think that's 60 megahertz. If I look above that one on the N71, it's showing a 3. That one's the 3 megahertz setup. Alright, so let's go upstairs, see how the signal and latency and other things compare when I do NSA versus SA. Alright, so now we are up in my 3rd floor loft, and I'm hooked up. I have my Ninja actually hooked up to my waveform 4x4 that's mounted inside my attic. I also forced it onto NSA to start with, so this is like what my stock T-Mobile gateways would be hooked up to. You can see I have 83% signal strength. You can see on the far right side I'm on B2 with a 15 megahertz download and upload bandwidth. And then it doesn't know what the 5G NR there is, but if I look here, I can see on the left side, kind of what I look at is maybe this RSRQ. And you can see I'm on minus 13 for 4G and minus 11 for 5G. So you're pretty good there for those metrics. And then you can see other information here on the cell side, as well as like my cell ID and what channel and PCI I have. But if I go into the AT command and type in my AT plus QAC info, then this will give me a little bit more details as far as what that 5G NR will show you that it's band 41. So I'm on band B2 for my LTE anchor and 41 for my 5G. So if we go in here to speed test and just run a speed test, you can see I have a good ping right now. It means 18 milliseconds unloaded, which is impressive. And I think I was getting around 150, 160. This does vary for me. Sometimes I'm 300, 400. Sometimes I'm 160. Sometimes I'm below 100. Kind of varies a little bit. And looks like my upload is going to be low double digits. All right, but one thing I will say, I'm really liking about this Ninja is my loaded pings, and even my unloaded for that matter. When I enable the IPv6 capability, you can see I have pretty good loaded pings, at least what I'm used to. There's definitely times before with the stock gateways, I can get a couple thousand milliseconds for loaded pings. So this is an improvement, I guess. Just for completeness, I'm going to run it again. I'm going to force it on to T-Mobile Detroit just to see what we get here. All right, so T-Mobile Detroit was similar, a little bit slower there on the upload side, but ping was very impressive there at 17. So let's go back into the interface. All right, so back into here, I guess I need to go in and pull out the AT command for changing my mode type. So now I want to disable the NSA. So I just come in here and I can select this, I can copy it, and then I can go in here and I can paste this command, hit send AT command, and if it gives you the OK prompt, that tells you that it actually received it. It'll give you an error message if it doesn't perform it, or you didn't copy all of it or whatnot. Now, this modem does not have to get restarted in order for it to apply that. Some other modems or setups do have to do that. This one sometimes it takes a little bit. You can see now it is popped over to 5G SA, and I can see my signal strength is still good. If I look here at some of my metrics, they all look reasonable. Now, if I go into my AT commands and again type in the AT plus QAC info, this is where it's going to give me a little bit more information, and it'll show you that I'm connected to both N41 and N25 for my bands there. So now let's hop back into speed test and just rerun it and see what we get. All right, so we are running the exact same test server there as we did the first time around for the NSA. And we can see it looks like it's fairly similar right now for my speed, and my ping is right on top of where it was before. All right, so it looks like, not that different in this case for my SA setup. That, my upload did improve, but my download and my pings are really right about where they were before. Let me go there and force it onto the T-Mobile server. All right, so again, really about the same story on both those servers. And my pings are very within, I think, 1 millisecond of them. My upload is better on this SA, and I guess in this case, my download was faster as well. All right, so you might be saying, Nate, why do we care? You didn't show any difference really between SA and NSA, and that's partly true in tonight's video. I could have played more theatrics and found another night where I do see a bigger difference and shown that instead. But really, this is the reality of where I think we are with 5G SA, at least in most markets. Is this going to be hit or miss? There are definitely times when it has made a big difference in my speed by going to SA from NSA. And, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is the ping. And I think this is a bit of a stretch of my own, not quite imagination, but just observation, is a couple weeks ago, I had a mean shift in my performance of my T-Mobile, specifically with my ping. So even on NSA, my ping got cut in half. I would not be surprised if they upgraded their core to now run on the 5G core, but still using the NSA on the RAN side on my area. And because again, I've seen a drastic reduction in my ping time across the board. Before, when I went from NSA, I'd be probably around 40 milliseconds for unloaded ping, and like I said, I would easily be in the 1,000 or 2,000 millisecond for especially the upload loaded ping. And in fact, I did test this G4AR while I was up there. My speeds were similar, a little bit slower than the Ninja there when that was on NSA. My pings for unloaded were about the same. I think I got like 17 or 18 on this G4AR. But my loaded pings were definitely slower. They're about double the time as the Ninja. So that one was, I think, 600 milliseconds for the download loaded ping, and over 1,000 milliseconds tonight, back to back, compared to this one. So I am seeing a difference in ping for this Ninja device itself, but from a NSA to SA, really not a massive change in the download speed or the ping for this Ninja device. But you did see the upload did make a big difference. I think, low double digits or high single digits on the SA. But I did see a big difference on the upload speed. This one was, I think, like 3 times faster in upload on SA versus NSA. So I've seen much bigger changes in the past, but tonight that was what I saw. So I wanted the video show you guys, and then if you do want to test it out in yourself, go look at a third-party gateway. If you want a coupon code for the Chester Tech Repair products, they sell InvisiGig, they sell the Ninja, Cheetah, I think Shield, and lots of other ones that are out there as well that they sell. But you can get like $45 off of most of those by using code NATERTATER. Alright, and so if you have any questions about the testing I did today, or other questions about the 5G home internet, feel free to put them in the comments down below. Of course, hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, and then consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.